Recording in progress.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cold villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast a mallow or two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to an IP sandwich episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 399, recorded Sunday, November 27th, 2022. Tonight, we're talking about our final Patreon pick of the year. This was chosen by your boy, Chris. The movie is Alien vs. Predator from 2004. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got our boy, Randu. What's up, man?
Randu!
What's up, buddy? I'm excited to see you and Juice duke it out today. And Bob versus Juice. Are we doing it?
Am
No
I
matter
Alien
who wins. Who
or
wins?
Predator?
You lose.
I feel like the Alien
I'd say
is far more stained, so that's Juice, I think. I'll take
so
Predator.
you are signing up to be a predator, is that I'm hearing?
Well, when you put it like that,
Yeah.
I'll just be
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
chick.
I would
that
give it a
survives at the end.
second thought. Sure. Yeah, that's you.
Last but not least, calling in from Saxonville, Florida, we got our boy Alien.
Oh, what up? It's your boy Soul Juice Stains. Ba 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 ba. If I was a boxer, it would definitely be Soul Juice Stains. So, it's appropriate. Ba, ba, ba. If I'm going
It's
against Bob,
appropriate.
Predator Bob.
Bob
I don't like that at
really
all.
just had that alley-oop and threw it into the crowd.
Yep, Predator Bob.
Not a
Soul
fan.
Juice takes on Predator Bob.
Oh,
Well,
slobbery.
I don't want to be an alien.
Wait,
I'll just be a
stains over
predator.
here. That's just
You could just
I'll
call
settle.
me Predator
I don't want people
Bob.
thinking I'm a strange alien. I'll just be a predator.
I don't want people to think I'm a predator.
oh God. Here we go. This
From
is
the
a new
horse's
thing.
It was a
mouth.
marriage to the beast.
From the predator's mouth.
Oh my God. Oh boy. Thanks for choosing this week's movie, Chris. We definitely do appreciate it. Before we get to the main event, let's tackle some housekeeping real quick. We do have our December poll pick currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this December. The theme for December is Christmas Redemption. We got 3 movies up there to vote on that we have reviewed in the past long ago. We want to have a second stab at. They are Gremlins, Santa's Sleigh, and the original 1974 Black Christmas.
Bob, how those numbers looking in the last weekend of November?
November. Pretty consistent. Santa's Sleigh is in last place. Gremlins is in second, and Black Christmas is on top.
Looks like we talking Black Christmas. All right.
Probably.
Cool.
Oh, Billy boy.
And by next episode, we'll have a new poll pick ready to go.
Yes, we will. Indeed.
I think people are going to be pleased.
Gonna be stoked.
You'll be so pleased.
The salesmanship that's happening here today.
Oh, Billy. Get your votes in before the end of November. We'll see what we're talking about this December. We've been dropping a mini cast out the ass this year. Last Friday, Juice was talking about Resurrection, which is a brand new Shudder original. Dropping on the first week of December, we got another mini cast. This is Juice again, actually. You're talking about a movie called Salome, which is also on Shudder.
Putting in work this year. Yes. I'm talking about that was a horror film that was filmed in Senegal, I believe. Yes. and it's on Shudder. You can watch it. It was a pretty cool film. It's bouncing off the theme of tonight. It's kind of like an action horror film, kind of mixed in
Yeah.
there. It's pretty interesting, very unique, not like anything I had particularly seen before. And so I was pretty into it. So if you got Shudder, check that out and then listen to my thoughts on that. When's that dropping, Bob?
That is going to be on Friday, December 9th.
Okay, cool.
So check that out. Over on Patreon, we got a whole back catalog of mini casts that are exclusive to Patreon. We add to that every single month. Speaking of Patreon, we do have a brand new patron we got to give shouts outs to.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
A big salty thanks to your boy Brandon G for showing us some love on Patreon. It really does mean a lot to us. It helps us keep the lights on over here at the Straight Chilling HQ. And as is tradition around these here parts, we owe Brandon the Straight Chilling salute. This one goes out to you.
Slap me in the ass.
Thanks,
Thank
Brandon.
you, Brandon. I've been way too vanilla these past 2 days, so thank you for spicing it.
2 whole days, you just really chilled out, huh? All right.
I don't understand.
Ever
Nobody
since the
does.
wild turkey legs night, that got a little crazy, you know.
Gravy just flying every which way.
Swimming in the ambrosia.
It seems like you're alluding to something, but no one's clear on what.
Roll, pumpkin, roll.
Oh, someone's clear about it.
It is you and only
Okay.
you.
All right.
That's for
Yeah.
fucking sure.
Hey, wanna
Um,
go get some jujubes with me?
That's all we ate on Thanksgiving was
That was
jujubes,
one of my
just to be
pickup
clear.
lines the other night.
To your family?
Okay, if we're talking predators, it ain't Bob anymore. Let's just get that out of the way.
Literally
Uh,
offering candy.
Not Bob anymore, huh, Bob? That's
I had
the
my-
old predator.
Turned
Get
over
the
a
juice
new leaf.
now.
Get the juice now. We have other things we got to talk about. Let's get to them real quick. At the time of the release of this episode, there will be a brand new episode of Let's Get Physical Media available for your ear holes. Mikey and I are talking about our November pickups, so check that out anywhere you get your podcasts. If you're into collecting Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, etc., Let's Get Physical Media is a show you might enjoy. Also, this Friday, December 2nd, in Jacksonville, Florida, we are having another meetup / live show at a bar
Oh,
called
God.
Rain Dogs. Rain Dogs at 7 o'clock. We rented out the back room. We're going to be hanging out for a while, rubbing elbows with each other, and then we are doing a special live recording starting at 8 o'clock for episode 400. So
Like
mark
nothing
your
I'd ever smelled before in my
calendars.
life.
Yes, mark your calendars. This is going to be a historic event. Also, take some time, listen to maybe some special horror Christmas music. I don't know. Maybe something about doors. Maybe they need to be
Something
warm. I don't
about
know. Just take some
doors.
time.
Something about them. Hot wood. Listen to it.
Just take some time and learn it and listen to it and be familiar.
What you do want to do is we're as part of our live show, we're having a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions you want to ask us, we'll have a microphone set up and we'll be answering all of your questions at the show. So have those ready to go. Again, that's happening Friday, December 2nd at Rain Dogs in Jacksonville, Florida. Starts at 7 o'clock. Come hang out with us. All three of us are going to be in attendance at a live show for the very first time in the history of this podcast. It's never happened before. So it's
Never
gonna be
happened on this podcast.
on this podcast. Fuck me. Come hang out.
Prepared to be bedazzled.
Be prepared.
If you guys aren't near Jacksonville and can't make it to the live show and still have questions you'd like for us to answer, you can email those to us at straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com, and we'll answer those on episode 400 as well. I think last but not least, Juice, you have a pretty big announcement. What you got?
So, as you know, this is some big stuff coming up. Our 400th episode, our first live event where we are all three together. And as part of this whole collective experience, Also, the documentary we have been teasing for our 400th release will be coming out just after the 400th episode is released. So Monday, December 12th, you can expect that to be dropping. It is quite long and full and expect that. We'll answer all your questions about straight chillin' history. Don't you worry.
Don't worry. If you're worrying, don't. You can stop now.
Well, you can worry a little bit. But...
You should probably worry a
Please,
lot.
please, God, don't worry.
Please,
We
We
got
God.
got
nothing you
this
should worry
under
about
control, okay? We got it.
I'm worried about your worrying. Oh God.
One fell move and it's curtains for the human race.
Yes. Yeah. That's gonna be dropping on YouTube. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I think that's all we got, right? Is our house clean?
Our house is clean.
I think so.
This house is clean.
Well, that's the big old toot toot. Let's get in the main event. We're talking Alien vs Predator, and we're kicking it off at the back of the motherfucking box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, do you have this box?
I got this double feature on Blu-ray. Ooh,
What's the other
oh,
feature?
Requiem, AVP Requiem,
Oh yeah.
the sequel.
Okay.
Um,
I don't
Yeah,
know
this
if I've
is-
seen that. Maybe
I have not seen it, and I did not feel moved to watch it in preparation.
Well,
No.
you did feel moved
Wow, tip in your hand.
to purchase it.
I had this already. And this is actually, I think I might have got this for like $5. It's really easy to come by. If you are interested in watching both these movies, you can find them pretty affordably. And also, it's got an extended cut for both of them if you're into that sort of thing as well. I was not. I chose the shorter theatrical cut
Yeah.
personally,
That's enough.
which was still an hour and 41 minutes. That's long
Really?
enough.
Well,
Yeah.
mine was 137.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this IMDb page is lying to me, but that's what it says on IMDb anyway. Maybe that's the runtime of the extended cut.
Whatever. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Alien vs Predator from 2004. This was directed by your boy Paul W.S. Anderson. This was based on characters by Dan O'Bannon, written by Ronald Shusett and Jim Thomas. Stars Lance, your boy Lance Henriksen returns, which feels right. Sine Lathan, Raoul Bova, Ewan Bremer, other people with really neat names also in this movie. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of this box is as follows. The deadliest creatures from the scariest sci-fi movies ever made face off in two action-packed thrillers filled with jaw-dropping effects and heart-stopping suspense in Aliens vs. Predator. Joe Mings. Joe Mings,
Okay, this is clearly worth our time.
have you seen this movie before, and would you recommend people check it out? Randy, why don't you kick us off?
I have seen this before. This is actually, and this is going to upset some folks probably, but this was the first Alien film that I had ever seen.
Oh,
What
I
a
had seen
fucking
Predator 1 and
asshole.
2 before
Fuck
this.
you, dude.
I mean, people are upset. But yeah, I saw this in theaters, and knowing nothing about xenomorphs going in besides the general look of them, I didn't really have any expectations for them specifically. And I don't know, what year did this come out? 2004. I was
Four.
pretty
Yeah.
fucking young, so my expectations were pretty easy to be met. This time around, not so much. I would recommend this only for low stakes background viewing as you're having a party or something. Like, no, not a real contender for my attention.
All right, Juice, what about you?
I had seen this before. I don't necessarily know the first time I'd seen it. I feel like this was a movie that was like on some channels for a while, that where you just kind of see it popping around.
Just on a channel. Just on
Just
You
on-
know those old school things called channels.
channels.
Channel surfing. You kids know about that.
Oh, yeah, I have plenty
so-
of channels on Slack.
Yeah.
Please surf the web.
So
loser.
I would not particularly recommend this, but I mean, I think this is a pretty accessible entry. We talked about action and horror last week with Aliens. I highly recommend that over this. But, for a more contemporary kind of film, it's not the worst thing out there. I don't feel like it represents either one of these franchises particularly well, but for it just kind of like one-off experience, it'll entertain you somewhat. So yeah.
When Scorsese describes MCU films as pre-roll rides for Universal Studios rides or whatever, that's how I see this movie.
Yeah. Bob, how about you? Had you seen this before? Would you recommend people check it out?
Yeah, I saw this one in theaters back in the day, and I remember being, moderately satisfied with it. I couldn't remember hardly anything from it, and like after a rewatch, I kind of see why. Like, it's not the most memorable movie I've ever seen. It's not terrible though. I've certainly seen worse. I'd give it a light recommend. Like if you just want some hot alien on alien action.
I do.
Yeah.
The Predator has spoken.
It's real goopy. There's a lot of drool in this movie, so if you're into that, sign yourself up for the drool. It sounds like a medium recommendation, I guess.
As close to medium as you can get, yeah.
Yeah, like extra medium. If you got the time, why not? All right, let's go ahead and spoil the shit out of this movie. Here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, do you have this plot synopsis? I anticipate it being very long. There's a lot to cover here.
I have it. It is 20 pages, single space.
Oh,
so strap in.
Is it MLA format?
Yes, it is. I have all my sources cited.
MMA formatted.
It is not in the file.
I described the level of drool for 3 entire chapters, so I'm ready for that.
Good.
Here it goes. Wow. In 2004, a Predator ship blasts a hole through 2,000 feet of ice on an island off the coast of Antarctica to access an ancient temple. We find a terminally ill Charles Whalen. He detects this via thermal imaging and assembles a crew to go to Antarctica so he can claim the discovery in his name. When they arrive, they descend the tunnel and find evidence of an ancient civilization, including a sacrificial chamber with human remains that appear to have their rib cages blown out. The team then accidentally triggers a lockdown at the temple that leads to the defrosting of a restrained alien queen who starts laying eggs. The eggs hatch facehuggers who attach themselves to humans and quickly grow into xenomorphs. The humans then find predator weapons as the aliens and predators begin fighting. Through translating hieroglyphics, they find out predators taught humans how to build pyramids, and they were worshipped like gods. Every 100 years, the predators would return to Earth and take part in a rite of passage where several hundred humans would sacrifice themselves to birth xenomorphs so the predators could hunt them. If the predator would lose, they would detonate a bomb and destroy everything. Our main girl Lex and Sebastian end up siding with predators after learning this, and they return their weapons. Lex helps kill a xenomorph, and the predator fashions her a spear and shield out of its carcass. The queen gets freed by the queen gets free, and the predator lays a bomb around her eggs. Lex and the predator are chased to the surface by the queen. They defeat the queen by pushing her over a cliff, and she gets dragged into the ocean by a water tower. The predator is fatally wounded and gets picked up by his brothers. One of the predators gives Lex a spear and then boards the ship. It takes off into outside space. On the ship, we find the predator's carcass laying dead, and then a predalien bursts from its chest. Roll them credits. Yeah.
Wow. Just hearing those the facts of this movie listed out really had me giggling.
Before we started the cast, before you got on, Randy, I was asking about some questions. I was like, I kind of forgot, and I was like, let me look up Wikipedia, and as I was reading the synopsis again, I was like, I need to stop reading this. It's making it
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The more you think about it, the
You know-
less dope it is, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's definitely
Um,
something to just watch and turn your brain off and experience, and that's really just the best way to like even covering this as a critique is gonna be it's gonna sound
unfair.
more it's gonna sound more painful to listen to the critique than I think it is going to be to actually watch this movie, because this
I
is a
think
pretty
that's true.
offensive kind of, it's really action.
Did you say offensive or inoffensive?
Inoffensive, sorry, inoffensive.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah, inoffensive movie to watch. It's really, kind of actiony, but they throw these iconic characters in there to give it some kind of selling appeal, but it's really just
Oh,
kind of like a popcorn
Oh yeah, for sure.
popcorn watch.
you said these
know?
iconic characters, and for some reason, I thought you were talking about the human cast. I was like,
No.
who?
Oh,
Like, who's
totally.
iconic here? Lance
Totally.
Henriksen is the closest thing to a name in this movie that I recognized,
Yeah.
and he deserves better than this movie, in my opinion. But and
Yeah.
his character, man, he's like the head of the evil organization Wayland Corp, like
Yeah.
consistently evil corporation. And he's just like this old guy who's like, oh, I don't want to die with just stock points. And he's like very sympathetic. I don't know, man. Like, huge missed opportunity to have yourself a human villain in this thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a cartoon. Everybody in this is really just kind of a cartoon of a
This
character.
whole
Like,
movie's a cartoon.
it's true. I mean, yeah, there are comic books and stuff based off this shit.
I
Or that
disagree.
that predated it, maybe. I don't know. Well, I don't. I want to talk. I want to bring up like
Yeah.
our main character, Lex or Alexa, I think is her
Okay.
full name. Just like the way she's introduced, she's climbing this like frozen side of a mountain, like in Nepal, like doing an activity that takes 100% of like your focus and body strength. And like, if you make one single mistake, you are dead as a motherfucker. And she
Yeah.
gets a call on her phone and answers it on the side of this fucking
Yeah,
cliff.
she-
just like, oh, hey, what's up, buddy? And it's like, what? Nobody
Yeah, I can
Nobody
take a
would
business
ever
call.
do that.
Nah, I'm not doing anything.
This movie's
That
so
shit was so funny to me.
This movie's so tropey, but the problem is every single trope it wants to use is 20 to 15 years too late. 15 to 20 years too late. This really takes a lot of, they do kind of stupid Indiana Jones shit, and they do stupid kind of action movie shit, but the problem is they're too late, and it's mixed with the shittiness of early 2000 cinema where a lot of the technology and effects and stuff look pretty bad, and the characters aren't as charming. Like, they don't have there's no Nick Cage in this film, there's no Harrison Ford in
Paxton.
this film.
Yeah.
They're missing the most important ingredients that make those kind of films work, but they want to use all of their beats and tropes, and so it just ends up feeling very hollow and very dated, and just overall like something that's just easy to forget and like slips away from your mind.
Like, it's fairly over the top, but not to the point where it seems like it's an intentional choice to go over the top. And it's over the top in like ways like you said, it's just so very tropey. It wants to have these moments where like a lady answers your hero answers the phone call while dangling off the side of a fucking mountain. But that's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem real at all. I wrote down, Rob, you compared this to a cartoon. I would argue that it's more like a video game. Like
Yeah.
every scene with characters in it that are just talking to each other seems like a bad cutscene from a PS2 era video game to me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just don't like it. They don't feel fleshed out. The closest one to being fleshed out is Lex, and mostly she is just like badass and right all the time, and that's it. Like,
Well,
she doesn't really have an arc.
Well, I was thinking, like, kind of what I was just saying is if you had that same exact situation, oh my God, somebody answering their phone on the side of a mountain, it's dumb. But if that were Tom Cruise, if that were, a typical action, if this was a Mission Impossible movie, then yeah, you see shit like that. But they kind of follow the formula of those things. So this film wants to be a horror slash action slash adventure movie, all those things. It wants to hit all those beats without any character that amounts to anything. And it just like it like wants too much, but it's not willing to invest in anything that matters.
I have to assume they were trying to create another Ripley-esque character and not really like a Nick Cage situation where he's over the top, but like they don't have as any nuance whatsoever. Because like Ripley, like you might not know a whole lot about her as an individual, but you come to learn through her actions and how she navigates like very difficult situations and stuff. And like you don't get a sense of like who Lex really is at all. They try and like cram in this weird like memory that she shares where she like drank champagne at the top of a mountain with her dad just before he died or whatever. And but that's about it. And it's really just like unnecessary dialogue that they probably could have cut because you don't get anything out of it really. But we like you don't really know who Lex is at all. Yeah.
No, you don't. And the thing is, like, yeah, like that is an important thing that could have been good if they had. This is like the key problem for Lex, I think, is what if you're trying to do a Ripley type character, the thing that worked for Ripley, the thing that ingratiated you to her beyond her just being like really capable and awesome, like in her own right, Lex has that part down, but she doesn't have the humanity part down that Ripley gets from discussing things and having arguments with her colleagues about shit and having like an enemy in her face that's not a xenomorph, because that you're talking about like what worked for Ripley was like having these beasts that she's trying to fight, but somebody else wants them to stay alive and she's just out here for survival. Lex doesn't really have that. The only thing you could argue she has is, oh, Lance Henriksen is like a father to her, but that's not really set up well, and they don't pay it off well, and she ultimately loses that battle and loses all of the battles and just becomes a predator. Like I guess like she becomes one of the predators in the end in some way.
Just
and
like
like
Bob.
Bob. Just like Bob.
This is
Tell us what
definitely
it's like being a
a
predator.
perfect example of the idea of more is much, much less. Because the whole idea is, you know, let's throw a ton of aliens in there, and you typically see one predator, and we're gonna give you 3, you know, and then you're gonna see them flying in on their ships, and you're gonna see this whole kind of like predator clan, and also the queen's there too. They really just throw everything at it, and yet with all of that spectacle and extraness that you're supposed to get, nothing feels like it has any kind of weight to it, you know?
Everything feels light.
Yeah, because the people don't matter in any kind of way, you know, like Bob said, or maybe right, somebody, they tried to do some things to give people some weight, like that one guy who's like, do you have kids? Yeah, well, we don't have the luxury of giving up. And then they like die 2 minutes later, like immediately die. And then the guy survives, but then just to get killed immediately once you find out that he's actually not dead. It's like, what?
Exactly. You know, that's one thing I did want to point out is that like every like the movie takes great pains to split people up in this film so that they can be picked off, and it becomes like the dumbest slasher movie for a while, where it's just like you spend a little time with somebody and then they die. You spend a little time with somebody else and then they die. And they spend some time with somebody else and they didn't quite die. Oh, now they're dead. And it never goes anywhere. It just doesn't really, it's just filler. You know what I mean? It's just like little action sequences. And here's the thing, is like the one thing that I will praise this movie on is I think it's got pretty decent production value as far as like sets go and things like that. Like I think it looks like well, the color grading stuff, I have problems with that, the editing, all that shit. But like the physical sets and the puppetry that is happening and shit, I think is pretty good, with the exception of the Predator costume, which I think looks like the dude from I Think You Should Leave.
Too much fucking shit on me.
The Predator helmet looks like straight doo-doo, right?
It does. The whole thing looks bad to me. He looks like a linebacker trotting into fucking the sideline. Like he's just huge. And just huge dude with a bunch of shit attached to him. It's just fucking.
He looks
fucking shit on me. I can't.
He kind of looks like a video game where as you upgrade, they just kind of slap more shit to your costume, you know, to where in the end it's like looks kind of ridiculous because you've just gotten every upgrade that you can get or whatever.
Yeah, it's like if you saw
yeah.
every actual item carried in Link's backpack as he's running around.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks
yeah.
ridiculous if he was to actually carry that shit around and you could see it.
Yeah.
So it looks
They-
like that to me. Yeah, it just looks like Dave Bautista shoved into a too much costume.
I think the aliens
See
look
shit off the sides
like-
of my eyes.
I think the aliens themselves look pretty decent though.
They
I think
do,
the
but
I do
there's
agree
no
with that.
variation to be had in those. They do try to add
No.
a little bit of variation. There's one that's got kind of like a design kind of on his head,
well,
but
it gets hurt.
yeah,
like,
well, that's
yeah,
right
yeah.
from the
I
neck.
like
that's
how
right.
that
That's
happened,
from the neck.
actually.
Yeah,
I like that.
I
too,
did
yeah.
like that too.
That's pretty
But
cool.
I didn't like the way they moved, because in this one, I don't know, like I know how, like it just they CG the movement and it looks like raptors from bad Jurassic Park movies. They don't have the same like feeling as even aliens when they're crawling through the vents or something like that. Here's the thing. This movie has absolutely no quiet tension to speak of.
Yeah.
So none of that shit fucking works. It's literally just like it's like a fighting game. It's like Alien versus Predator, Mortal Kombat style, is what it feels
Well,
like half the time.
And a lot of the stuff you can tell too, this is very, very dated in the worst kind of time, because you can tell a lot of it is meant for 3D, where they're throwing shit at the screen and stuff
Was
like
this
that.
3D?
I got like several. There were several indications to me that this was supposed to be in 3D.
I don't think so, man.
Y'all didn't see any shots.
I don't think so,
that-
but
okay.
No. But I don't think it was 3D. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And I will say though, like to your point though, like I could see that argument being made, because there's a lot, and I think it's more like stuff that's offshoots of like Matrix wire food stuff that was
okay.
still in the mix at the time.
Okay.
I would liken it more to that than like 3D stuff, but like it does have like stuff coming at the camera or whatever. But I think it's more of an offshoot of that.
Okay.
Not that it really matters, but
It was kind of bothering
Um,
me, but yeah, I think too the and this is actually a little bit of a problem that I had with Aliens. I don't know if I actually brought it up last week or not, but one of the problems with this movie that it's even more egregious is if you take the first movie of Alien, and that thing was able to wreck everything by itself. It
Mhm.
was so hard to kill that one alien, you know? And it's the same kind of idea with Predator. And then like you throw all these things together to at one point they're showing this it's so stupid. They're showing this temple that's being swarmed with like thousands
yeah,
of xenomorphs or whatever. And the whole idea too is you have 3 predators, and the 2 predators get taken out like almost immediately. They just get taken out, and all the humans just get taken out like immediately. And then for 30 minutes you're supposed to buy that this one woman who's not even a soldier, who climbs mountains, and this one last predator is kicking ass and surviving. It's like, no, the stakes that they set up don't follow their logic in any kind of way. They don't follow the franchise logic in any kind of way, and it just makes it feel that's why when you have so much more, when you take an iconic thing like Alien and Predator, and then you're like, we got to ramp it up, we got to add so much more. It's like,
right.
well, in the first movie 10 to 12 people couldn't handle it, and now you want to throw 30 in there and you think anybody's going to survive? That just like cheapens the characters themselves.
I think, well, I mean, in fairness, like having like, okay, the scene where Predator finally the survival almost surviving Predator, when he gets his gun and he starts like blasting him away, that to me makes sense. Have several of them for red shirts there. Several xenomorphs get taken out by that gun. That is like a weapon that nobody in any of the franchises that I've seen of Aliens had any access to. They specifically there to kill these things. It makes sense to me that would happen. But the shot you were talking about of like the 3 predators on top of the goddamn Mayan temple, like that is just so over the top and so like it just feels fucking stupid, and the CG of it all cheapens the scariness that could be there for the xenomorphs in the actual film, like the meat of the film. And that's something that like I really got pissed off about in this movie, because there were several like decent prime moments where they could have really built some strong tension, some sort of horror level tension, but they just didn't. Like they only have action tension in this movie. I would argue this isn't like, I don't go into the genre conversation lightly, but I really don't see very many horror elements to this at all. Like there's not even very much like gore outside of alien gore, and that's doesn't really impact the same way, at least not to me. So like I don't know, like, they have like moments where, oh, I'm almost crushed by a thing, oh my god, my somebody's up against the wall, and they jump and they have something coming out of their chest or whatever. Like they have those things, but none of them feel like they're there to cause a scare. And then there's this one shot that really bothered me where Lex and the other guy, the whatever, the archaeologist that's somehow knows everything about this temple throughout the whole movie, they like managed to just escape the predator, and one of the predators and aliens or whatever is in this other chamber, and the predator kills a face hugger and marks his helmet. He's like, that's it, his moment where he's marking the helmet, and they're just staring there talking at full volume through a hole in the wall after nearly being crushed, being chased by aliens, all this shit. There's not a hair out of place on these fucking people. They're acting like they're in the fucking line at the DMV. It drove me fucking insane. Make some tension. He can hear you probably. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You could have easily inserted just the slightest bit of like, oh shit, don't breathe. You know, like any of that. They didn't do that ever in this movie.
How did y'all think about like the idea of the constantly like changing Rubik's Cube of a pyramid? How did that like work for you guys at all? Did that help build any tension in any way?
No.
It made some
Yeah.
it made some moments feel kind of claustrophobic. Like when those two guys were kind of crawled. Like I did, so I like the idea. Okay, not necessarily the execution, but the idea of these aliens in a place, you know, we've seen them in space, you know, we've seen them there, and it's kind of cool to see them in this kind of setting where, you know, we see this in some other movies too. One of the Underworlds, I think, where, you know, the vampires try to enslave the Lycans, and they have them crawling like through these tunnels to control them. So, you know, these aliens being only able to go through these certain these xenomorphs being able to go through these certain pathways that are kind of designed to control their numbers a little bit, but still add a challenge and stuff like that. It was kind of cool, and you know, made sense in some kind of way, but it all looks very cheap. Even when they first go down into the tunnel, the iceberg tunnel, and they shoot the flares off, and it's supposed to be this wondrous moment of this huge temple, it just looks like shit. Like they're not able to pull off anything of like scale or anything in this film. It just doesn't look good.
It also I like the idea too, but it's difficult to like even like fully understand how it's happening or how that would be possible. And it makes it like, even if it wasn't happening, I feel like you probably have no idea where you're like situated at in the temple, but especially because of that, like you have no idea how close they are to an exit or how deep it, like, you know, they could just like, are they right next to outside? Like, you have no idea. So it doesn't really matter where they're at any point.
Yeah, it literally takes away your ability to track where they are at all. And so like the placemaking gets hard there. The thing is, like, that's a cool idea for another movie. That's just like trying to put too much in here, in my opinion. I think like, and also it causes this problem because they specifically say that every 10 minutes the world, the rooms shift and shit like that. Here's the thing. What that essentially means is that we have a frozen alien queen that defrosts, lays eggs, those eggs hatch, those things, the face huggers then implant embryos into people, and full-grown xenomorphs all grow out in a matter of like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was a problem I had too.
That's a fucking problem, man.
Also, conveyor belts.
Why say 10 minutes? Alone. Just don't.
Yeah, and also
like they just had to. Everything's a means to the ends, and the end is getting the Alien versus Predator moment, and that's, I understand that. And if you don't take it seriously, it's fine. But it just like it's impossible not to hold this up against the other movies. That they spawn from, and be like, God, this is like, they're shadows of themselves. This is video game logic to get two characters in a room together so that they can Hadouken each other.
Well, yeah, this really reminds me too of what this kind of reminded me of a little bit of was The Thing that came out around, I think it was much later, like maybe 2011 or something like that.
The
But
prequel thing.
yeah, the prequel thing, where it was like, okay, some baller ass movies came out 20 years ago, and we want to kind of recapture some of that magic and some of what was appealing to it for this kind of maybe new generation, this new audience. And, that's okay, because this very much is going off of, the kind of, I guess, love and success of what Aliens was, which we just talked about last week, as this blend of action, taking it more in the action kind of route, and stuff like that. But it suffers from so many films of that time where everything, it feels like plastic. It doesn't feel like an authentic version. It feels like a plastic version of what it's trying to be. And
It feels like action
it feels
figures,
like
man.
like a knockoff. It really just feels like a knockoff. And like nothing they're able to do here feels fresh or particularly interesting. Like that guy, you mentioned it before, but that guy just walking around and telling you everything. God, how annoying is that?
It's
Just
Cambodian and Mayan
and yeah, let me
dude.
just read this for you and it'll explain all it. And also, I just, this guy, he acts just like an old warrior, and I know about that shit too. And it's like, come
Yeah.
on, like, just
Dude, exactly. Exactly. Dude, can I tell you what drove me nuts? And this is like more like plot holy type of thing, but like than it is just like an exposition issue. But like that same guy, him solving the little riddle about fucking the day, the month, and the year.
and
You're telling me these fucking Mayan / Cambodian / Egyptian / alien fucking monastery is operating on the goddamn Gregorian calendar? Is that what you're fucking telling me, archaeologist? Get the fuck out of here. Like, come on, like shit like that is so
and
easy
then you
to
can
dodge.
just turn
like,
it. That's the thing.
yeah,
It's like, I'm gonna
it's
turn these stone
dumb.
wheels, but
They just needed something for him to do to open the thing.
but also in
And they
the
just came up
back
with the first
room,
idea was the one they went with.
you're going through like all that's, it doesn't, like, the blend here just doesn't work very well, because he's turning these stone wheels and they're stepping on these stone booby traps like you'd see in Indiana Jones. Like, okay, that's its
Yeah.
own thing. We're studying an ancient like civilization, but then in the fucking back room, the alien, there's the fucking blue ass lightning sparking around and like heating everything up. Like there's machines and shit back there. I'm like, this looks so dumb. It looks so cheap. And the chains that like hold the alien, it's like none of the aesthetic goes together.
They don't match.
It does.
That's right. Like you're totally right. And that's like I talk about the good like production value for the sets or whatever. That's when you take them individually, because you're totally right that like each of the sets, like, well, at least not all of them are as incongruous, but I think like in general the temple works well together. But then you start getting to the lava, like the power core, where they keep that is so different, and it's like it just doesn't match. I don't know. I don't have a huge issue with it. It just like it's just one more thing. You know what I mean? It's like, man, these things are great, but they just don't really fit together. And like some of the artwork depicts, predators, some depict aliens, some of it's component. Like it's just a fucking mess.
Okay.
When did predators want to be fucking gods? Like, why did that happen?
Yeah, okay. So also too, there's Cambodian written on this temple. Okay, there's Cambodian, Aztec and shit. And they worship them as gods. There's no other temple or any other artwork
no
of
mention
a predator,
of it
because this whole temple's made to look like a fucking predator. The doors slide open and close, and it looks like a predator. And on the predator's chest is the alien or the symbol of the alien, like wrapped around or whatever. It's like, but this doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And there's Cambodian written on here.
It's like a fucking theme park ride. It really is. It's like the queue for a queue for what would probably be a pretty badass theme park ride, but makes for a terrible fucking movie. And I don't know, man.
Hey, Bob.
There's a bunch of things.
Oh, hey.
Me and Randy have been ranting a little bit. Well, what do you think about
Yeah.
that?
It's true. Yeah, it looks dumb. Yeah, the bit about like the predators all of a sudden being gods that have been like worshipped and shit. I guess I can understand where that's coming from, but I find it like a little unbelievable that the predator would decide to like team up with Lex and
Exactly.
like fashion her like a shield and a spear. It seems like very outside of like what a predator is, which is like he wants to be the apex predator, right? Like king shit. He doesn't need a sidekick or want one. He wants to go out, fucking kill everything, and then leave the planet. It doesn't really fit like the idea of what a predator is supposed to be, as far as I understand it. I thought it was kind of cool that he like ripped the alien skull off or whatever, and she uses that as a shield. Like it was a cool moment in the movie, but like it just didn't add up for me. I don't know. Did that hit y'all weird
Yeah.
in any way?
It did.
Yeah, it does. Because it's not just that though. When I mentioned this, I think in my recommend, where I feel like, it's kind of a cool idea to say we're going to put this predator versus alien, because the basic kind of logic of that makes sense, especially what you know about a predator. It hunts these deadly things. But the more and more they want to explain everything to you. The more I explain, it doesn't match with the franchises, because even like the predator, sometimes it doesn't even use tools, like, and we see it here, it doesn't want to kill this sick old man. It doesn't find it honorable. I just can't believe that the predator would want to take on this human being partner. It would rather just blow itself up. It's always like, we know that they're fine to commit suicide. Like if it's not honorable to do it, they're not going to do it. So why would they? Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
The reason, here's the thing, it's like having him adopt her as like sort of like a all right, short round, come with me sort of thing. That doesn't work, because like in every other Predator movie, the only thing that causes him to respect you is if you can kill him.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, I just don't like her like managing to kill a xenomorph that's jumping at her or whatever. Like, I guess you could say that that's like, oh, he has respect for her now, but I don't think that's enough for him to like fashion a fucking xenomorph shield and weapon for her and like have her like basically cover his back the whole fucking movie. I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right to have for a predator. The whole even predators teaming up with each other seems like a little much to me.
It does.
Because the whole thing is like you're proving your mettle as the hunter. That's the whole thing that I understand predators.
If anything, they should have made it a competition amongst predators.
Right. And all the humans are going to do is get in the fucking way or act as fodder. If he had then used her as bait, I would be on board.
Yeah.
Like if he kind of like, all right, you can come with me, and then he like knowingly used her as bait for something or somehow, that would have been like, yeah, okay, that's the predator. He doesn't give a fuck about you. You're a means to an end.
Let's rewrite this real quick. It should have been three if you want to do multiple predators, it should have been three predators where they're in this competition. One plays unfairly and triggers this thing where the aliens get out of control. Maybe there's just supposed to be one alien or something. You gotta like hunt the alien. And then just like, and then now the other one's like, shit, this is like, now they're gonna overrun. But why would he give a shit about Earth getting overrun anyways? Why would the predator give a shit about Earth being flooded with xenomorphs?
Well, why would he need to go there to hunt xenomorph? Just like let them run rampant and go there when you want to fight a xenomorph.
Also, this movie is supposed to have taken place like way before the first Alien movie is ever supposed to be taking place. Like, what?
And also, there's a fucking whaling mission. There's a whaling camp on top of this thing. So it's not like it's untouched by human hands. It's just under the ice. So theoretically, now it should be still accessible to anybody who comes to Antarctica to see that site for whatever reason. So I don't know, man. Like in all those years, I guess nobody paid attention. Also, the Predator sleds to safety in this movie.
Yeah, they do. I mean, he did put the bomb under there, Randy, and it blows everything to shit. So I assume if you come back, you're just gonna find a pile of rubble or whatever underneath
Also,
2,000
like,
feet
how
of ice.
many? If they
I
if
guess
they
that's true.
caught, if
Well,
they,
no, because they've blown it up before, unless that was like Maya. Another
And maybe they
That's the
rebuilt it.
thing.
It doesn't matter.
yeah, that's the thing is they taught civilization to build these temples so they would
Yeah.
have hunting grounds, but then they
Yeah.
just blow it up every time. Well, then why do we have?
If they
temple?
lose,
Yeah.
they blow it up.
And if
It's-
they blow it up in a way that doesn't harm the temple, then I don't know, man. I
It
guess
seems
that's
to
what I was
fucking-
assuming.
Yeah, it seems to fucking blow
demolish
shit up.
everything.
Yeah.
I think another like important beat that we need to touch on that we haven't yet, really the last one I can think of, is the very end of this movie. So we see the Predator's carcass on the spaceship, and then a like alien predator hybrid chest burster pops out of its carcass. So like I guess we are to believe that somehow or another a face hugger got on this thing and laid an egg in it,
did.
and we just didn't see it.
Yeah,
but
it
it
happened
also
in-
did.
on
We
s-
did see it.
did.
Oh, we did
Not on camera, but it was
Not
heavily
on
implied.
camera, but it was
Okay.
implied. It was
Okay.
implied. But then when you go back to him and he's fine, you're like, oh, he must have killed it. But there is a scene where a facehugger
But
is
he's
like
for fixing
coming at
his mask
face.
back on.
Yeah, well, after he had taken
okay.
the mask off and he like is using the acid or whatever.
Man,
So
what a predator at that point would try and rip that thing out of its
Yeah,
gut or just
sure.
kill himself.
Well,
Like you
sure.
wouldn't just go around. with it.
no.
Yeah, he wouldn't forget that it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
he
then
wouldn't get
escape,
on his
like,
ship
if his-
with his
he would blow himself up,
family
presumably,
and fucking
or something.
Yeah,
He wouldn't
It-
sled to safety like goddamn Klaus and Santa Claus.
oh,
That
that
shit
Klaus
drove me
the
nuts.
Predator.
There's also a fucking
Wow.
full-on Batman Forever style suit up in this. I'm genuinely shocked there weren't like rubber nipples for this Predator in this movie.
Dude, how many nipples does a predator have?
9.
I mean, man,
Ooh,
that's a
an
question
odd
for
number.
the scientists.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
But
69.
they have like a quick cut. Oh, suiting up. No, now it's his arm thing. Now it's his blades coming out. Now it's his like spear. Now it's his
Shalom.
mask coming on. It's like Jesus Christ. Like, do we have to go to the most obvious well for everything?
Yeah.
Apparently so. Apparently so.
Ugh.
So it so cheapens everything that the Predator does. Like he's not a lurking anything. Everybody knows everything about him, so they just don't bother with any level of mystery with any of it. Or even like having the people who don't know about these things contend with it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
I was gonna just try and throw out some positives because we're going pretty hard on this. There is like
Yeah.
one like nice moment where the Predator takes his helmet off or whatever. I think it's when he burns it, the little symbol into it, and like we see an alien really
Mhm.
slowly and quietly creep down on him, like we've seen in the original Alien movie. They're very, very quiet. They can almost like camouflage themselves. It's a really neat moment. And like, oh shit, is he about to get got? And then he just like slashes the alien's face clean off.
Anime
And, like
slices him.
yeah, I thought that was a neat little moment. I thought the like metal netting that like contracted around the aliens was a really cool weapon that I hadn't seen before. I thought that was a nice
We've
little
seen
addition
that
to like.
before.
We have.
Oh, we had. Oh well, fuck it. I forgot. I guess I thought that was cool in this movie, used well because it kind of like scores one of the aliens. You kind of
Mhm.
like
I thought
recognize
that was smart,
it.
actually.
Yeah, amongst the rest of them. Bringing back Lance Henriksen is a good idea. I think I was like stoked to see him on screen. He ultimately doesn't do a whole lot. He even has a chance to like get away, but because he's like such an asshole, he like demands the Predator face him and then just dies. And it's like sort of unceremonious. You're like, okay, well, that's that, I guess. He's an asshole. I don't know. They didn't have him do much. I wish they had him do a little bit more. But I'm glad they brought him back. That was neat. I think it was a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the aliens in general look solid. The Queen looks solid. The only like gripe I think I have with the Queen is like at the very end when they have her like sprinting and it's like full CG at that point. It looks
Mhm.
dated as
When she
fuck.
falls like
It
into
looks like
the
fucking Jurassic
building.
Park.
Yeah,
It
Like a
does,
bad
yeah.
Jurassic Park.
That looks
Yeah.
bad.
But outside of that, I think the aliens look pretty dope. The Predators look a little wonky. Like they could have done a better job, I think.
Yeah.
Especially because it's about
You know-
the aliens and the Predators. Like you at least want to make sure they look good, right? I would hope. But
Yeah. Dude,
They
fucking
didn't quite
guy
do
running
it.
around.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
damn.
That's Predator. Talking about it
No.
too much shit on him.
Do
Um,
you guys have any other points you want to touch on before we rate this thing.
I have one. Can you
Okay.
tell me how a person outruns a fireball on sled and then on foot? Like, I don't understand that whole
Yeah, but-
sequence of the thing blowing up. They're speeding out of the cavern or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't understand exactly how that works, but let's just say they're just speeding their asses right on out of there, and the thing is just barely behind them, and then they blast out, and then they get up and start running on foot away from the same fireball, and it's not able to catch them.
Well, you got to have the world's fastest winch to rip your ass out of that hole, and then you
It was so much.
you launch out at such a speed. You keep your little feetsies moving in the air, so like whenever you land, you're just already off to the races. That's how you nail it.
It's fucking horrible, man. I will say I gave shit to and I still will. It's a dumb thing. The Predator armor, or the Aliens armor, the Xenomorph armor. It's dumb. It really is exactly a kid playing with action figures and mixing and matching to form their own story. That's all it is. But and if it doesn't kind of look cool, it's dumb as fuck. But I kind of like the way it looks. So I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Give it.
All right.
That. Yeah, let's rate
All
this
right,
thing.
let's
do it. Out of 5, Juice, why don't you kick us off? How do you feel about Alien vs. Predator?
I didn't mention a lot of positives, so I'll try to knock out some of those. The aliens do kind of look cool, and some of the fight sequences I'm down for. If you're gonna tell me Alien versus Predator, then especially that one who's just kind of going 1-to-1 with that one alien, that's kind of a fun sequence. It's not amazing, but that's what I'm expecting to get out of this movie. Fucking Mortal Kombat style beat down between these two creatures, and that was fun. Some of their look, when the Predator is flipping through his screen visions or whatever, and the way that the aliens look, they're all green, he can kind of see their blood and stuff like that. It's like neon green. That's pretty cool. There's like some cool looking stuff in here, and if you treat it, I wish it was honestly kind of treated more like a kind of Mortal Kombat movie, because then at least you could have gotten some like ridiculous over the top kind of like fight sequences. But really, I feel like they have to pad it out with red shirts because they're not sure, do you want to make it a horror movie? Parts of it are going to be a horror movie, parts of it are going to be an adventure, and like we're going to try to give these people who don't like matter to us, like some kind of story and stuff, because you're right. In order to make it a horror movie, they don't add any kind of real tension. So I don't know. I just feel like they tried to check too many boxes without like fully developing out like those kind of like genres or like that they're trying to fill. So I wasn't impressed by this movie, but it's not too bad to watch. It's about an hour and a half, and there's some fun fight sequences, seeing the predators with their cool weapons and just fucking blasting. I just want to see predators blasting. That's all I want to see. An alien just doing their thing.
You heard it here, folks. Just wants to hear predators. Watch predators blast, hear them blast,
and
blast.
They like
judging you.
They really stress the little alien's mouth this time or whatever, and that's okay. But I just I don't know. I feel like my critique of this film is a lot harsher than my actual watch of this film. I feel like this is kind of more successful than like what a Doom wanted to be, which came out around the same time. So, this isn't like an anomaly for its time. It was kind of trying to fit in and did okay with what it got. So I'm going to give it a 2.25. It's like okay enough to watch sometimes, but I never want to. And it kind of cheapens the franchises it wants to be a part of, but it's also very, very, very easy to just ignore it completely. And that's fine too. So yeah, 2.25. Robert out of 5.
Hello.
What do you give an AVP?
Yeah, I like comparing this to Doom, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Doom's a terrible movie, but I think I'd rather watch it. Like, I'd reach for it first over this. But I think I'm gonna. I know I'm gonna rate this one higher than that.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like it's a weird, I don't know,
Huh.
flip flop there.
Yeah.
This movie is just okay. It's fine. It's not terrible, and it's definitely not fantastic. I think it's got some decent action in it. It's something you can kind of throw on and halfway pay attention to, and like have a decent time with it. You're not gonna hate it. The characters, the human characters in here are just sort of like non-existent for the most part. There's not a whole lot going on. Seeing Lance Henriksen was definitely a bit of a highlight. The aliens look solid. I like the idea of the alien and the predator like battling in this ancient location that's been there forever. But it like changing like in a Rubik's cube every 10 minutes, and like it having a conveyor belt and like all this just crazy shit that doesn't make any sense in it. I don't know like where they're coming from with it, or like why even include it. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't add up to like affect anything really in any way. It could just be a very large place that they get lost in, and then that's fine, and it would probably look better if they did that. I don't know. It's fine. That's it. I've said enough, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna give it like a right down the middle because it's not offensive, but like it's pretty forgettable. I think a 2.5 is fair for this. I'll give it a 2.5. Ray and Deuce, how do you feel?
Yes, I mean, I also have been pretty rough on this movie, and I agree that it's like it's not hard to watch. What it is unmemorable, like we talked about. Like that's the thing about this. Like the good parts slide off you because they're not that good. They are just it ranges from capable to fucking dumb, and that's really the range you're operating in. For me, it's like they go over the top sometimes, but then they like intimate like they're going to do something smaller, and then they just kind of don't, or it falls really flat. I don't know. I just don't think that this movie knows what it wants to be, or it has the amount. It's just trying to cram too much in, and I think that's really the core of the issue. But it occupies the same space of enjoyment for me as like Godzilla versus Kong or something, which I know you guys might disagree with me on, but like I found enjoyment in that on a Mortal Kombat dumbass level. And the thing is, like, I wish that this movie was just a little bit more ridiculous, which is funny for me to say considering my complaints, but like if it leaned harder into that and didn't, it didn't try to like, I don't know, if it was just completely separate from its source material and just kind of did its own like bullshit and like went as hard as it possibly could into like Psycho Gorman level bullshit, I don't think I would have a problem with this movie, because then it knows what it is. I just don't think it does. I don't think it actually knows who it is. I think it's just trying to fit in a few check marks of fan beats that they got to include, and they're trying to ramp up the stakes using CG and some using like the most tired tropes ever to get us from one scene to the next and to pad out time with the red shirts. It just doesn't, it's not very enjoyable to watch. It may have a few capable action scenes. It may have some like moderate performances, but very uninterested, but like not embarrassing performances for the most part. I don't know. It doesn't work for me very well. I keep thinking about that one character who sounded like Tayson Day, the fucking recruiter guy. Did you notice that guy's voice?
No.
Wow.
The Chocolate Rain guy? Is that?
He sounds like the Chocolate Rain guy. He's like,
Chocolate Rain.
I thought I might find you here. We don't have time to waste, and all this. I don't know. It's like they just hired this guy for a voice, and it's like, just do it hard, do it bigger, do more of that. I don't know. Like little things like that. It's like they just kind of stack up and make every scene less serious, and no attempts were made to make this a tension movie for me, from what I can tell. And that's like a huge missed opportunity for any Alien or Predator film. It just doesn't match. So it doesn't work for me. I think that it's overall just like a silly little fun romp at best. So to me, that's silly like a 2.5. There's nothing if you take it seriously at all, it crumbles. Period.
Yeah.
But if you don't take it seriously, you can kill like a little under 2 hours with worse things, certainly.
Yeah.
So I think middle of the road is fine.
Okay.
Some
That's
stay
probably a little more
dry,
than
and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain.
That's a
Dude.
throwback. That's like old school.
Oh,
you,
wow.
You boys were
Fucking-
telling me all about how hot that was back in the day.
Chocolate
That was the hotness.
rain. That
Sit on
was-
Pappy's lap and let me tell you about Tazon.
chocolate.
Predators.
Wonder what old
And
I wonder what
predators.
Chocolate Rain's up to these days. What do you think he's doing?
I don't know. Probably,
Who could say?
you know.
I guess he's starring in these.
Probably
weird
laying
action
mad pipe.
mashup.
I hope so.
Also, has got a huge wiener. That's what we know about Tay Sunday.
Mhm.
Cashing those chocolate rain checks. Let's our aggregate's going to be a 2.4 for Alien vs Predator. Something that we have been doing this year, though. If you nail one of our You Pick the Flicks, you pick a movie for us to watch. Pick a movie for us to watch and review. You guys
Predator
have the
Bob over
opportunity
there.
to send in an email or a voicemail with your own rating and review. Our boy Chris sent us a voicemail. Let's hear what he has got to say about AVP.
What's up, Straight Chilling crew? This is Chris. You know, the kaiju guy that you guys bring up every now and then to educate y'all. So, my thoughts on AVP. This could be nostalgia talking, but overall, I just think this movie is overrated. It's stupid, it's silly, but it's a crossover movie, you know? It's not meant to be high art, you know? It's not like nothing can beat the original first two Alien films, and nothing can beat the first Predator film. But this is basically two action figures slamming each other for an hour and a half or so. And it's just fun. It's just, you know, the characters are overall pretty likable, especially Lance Henriksen. The fights are pretty cool. Lots of practical effects. Gotta admit, you know, both franchises still use practical effects predominantly to this day. You know, some of the kills are pretty good. Yeah, it could have been an R rating, but, you know, compensating with some cool monster gore. That's pretty fun. You know, you get away with a lot for green blood. And, you know, the story is simple. You know, it's easy to follow. It's just the only issue is it could have been an R rating maybe. And, you know, it could have just been set in the future, you know, because this kind of, you know, wrecks the timeline for both set of franchises. But other than that, I just think the movie's fun. I think people overhate on it for trying to think it's going to be the first Alien or the first Predator, when really, you know, they should realize that it can beat those lightning in a bottle films and just enjoy for a fun ride. Again, as I said before, it's two action figures playing each other, and you can't have fun with that. Well, this is definitely not the kind of movie. So I would give it 3.5 stars out of 5.
Think that, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he actually brought
Yeah.
up a good point that I kind of want to mention, that on a lot of the kills that they do, they like really do bitch out on them.
Mhm.
Like there's one where like a chest burster is going to burst out of a person, and it like you see it like just for a second like come out, and then they like cut away, and like the dude who gets
Yeah.
eaten in the tunnel, like he gets pulled up and cuts away. And there's yeah.
Yeah,
It's totally true.
Yeah, we didn't mention it's PG-13. I forgot to say that at the
Yeah.
top. But
Honestly, I
yeah.
didn't realize that, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know,
Um,
like he's right that like this is a crossover movie, so like, but I don't know, like this one has parts that bother me more, I guess, than like Godzilla versus Kong, because it doesn't really carve out its own niche the way that movie does, or the way that like the best crossover movies do. It doesn't take it as absurd as it like more absurd, like Freddy versus Jason takes it to like real absurd heights, and I like that about that movie. That's fun to me. This one doesn't quite go that fun, in my opinion. It's just mostly by the numbers tropes filling out fan service check marks, and that's what bothers me.
Yeah, I vibe with that. Hopefully other people out there dig this movie a little more than we do. Not the worst thing, not the best thing. But yeah. No, thanks for calling in, Chris. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, man, and thanks for picking a flick for us to review.
Thanks,
Let's
Chris.
go ahead. Let's jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users have to say about AVP.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these two gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is for Alien vs. Predator on RottenTomatoes.com, starting as we usually do with the critics score. There's 146 reviews counted rather, for Alien vs. Predator. I'm going to start with Juice today. Juice, what do you think out of those 146, what percentage would you say were positive reviews?
Oof, I don't know, man. I don't think this is going to be super high. I'll split it. I'll right down the middle and say 50.
50, okay. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very high. 50. Oh, man. I'll go down. What is our aggregate? I'll take our aggregate 2.4, 48. Give me a 48, please.
48. Okay, pretty close as it turns out.
Yeah.
Or pretty close to each other, I mean, because it's not close to the answer. The answer is 22%.
Whoa!
Bob's gonna take this one.
Damn.
This is a maligned film
right.
amongst critics.
Damn.
Where see, Chris, we were much more forgiving than the normal critics.
Yeah.
Apparently.
That's true. This is a one of the lower scores we've seen in a while for I would say a film that got this big of a release.
Yeah.
So interesting to note. We're going to jump over to the audience score now. There are over 250,000 ratings from the audience. Bob, we're going to start with you this time. What do you think those audience members rated this film?
That's
Or
got to
rather,
bring it
how
up.
many of those do you think were positive?
The sheer numbers got to bring it up a little bit closer to at least halfway. I still don't think it's going to be very high. I don't see this movie like totally satisfying like Predator fans or Alien fans necessarily. It's just kind of like kind of a weak presentation for either franchise, I think. So I'll take a 45.
45. Okay, Juice, how about you?
I think the critics are going to be a lot harsher on this. I'm going to have some faith that, like Chris, there's going to be some fans out there. And so I'll give it a 52.
52. Well, Bob, congrats on your sweep today. It's a 39%.
Oh, no. I had too much faith in the fans.
Why did I put my faith in
Not a
Oh,
sweep,
God.
Bob. Get the broom.
I nailed the tomatoes today.
I don't
There's
even want to be
sawdust
around
skeet
anymore.
everywhere. Sweep it up.
So yeah, this is here's the critics' consensus. Gore without scares and cardboard cutout characters make this clash of the monsters a dull sit. I'd have to mostly agree
Dull
with that.
sit.
Yeah.
It's a real dull sit if I ever did see
I want
one.
an exciting
A
sit.
Brit wrote that. I can guarantee
This is-
it.
He was
This is
drinking
nothing
tea.
like
A
my
real
book
dull
plug.
sit.
What a dull sit. Where are my cookies? My tea cookies?
Yeah,
What
no
what are
American
My
they?
would
biscuits,
say such
Bob.
are my biscuits?
Come
My
on.
biscuits and my fucking gravy. I
Bring
have
me
with
them
my
butter
tea
biscuits, girl.
my
Okay.
sawmill gravy. British folks love sawmill gravy.
I don't think
Fact.
so. I don't think
I-
so.
Well, maybe in South England. Yeah.
The dirty
London
South
is where-
England.
The dirty
The-
South London.
dirty
That's where
South
people love
England.
sawmill gravy. Going to Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
All right, let's
Barrel.
read some negative reviews as we often do to see
Cracker
if they
Barrel.
have any humor in
Barrel.
them. And I have a feeling there's going to be some fun ones here, but we'll see.
Cracker Barrel.
What? Moving on. Here's a negative review. To ingest Alien versus Predator on its own slimy, divertingly synthetic terms, it helps to forget everything previously known and loved about the franchise monster aliens who get star billing. Well, that started off kind of pompous, but I actually ended up agreeing with it.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Uh-oh. Randy,
That's a
look
and
out.
also too
Uh-oh.
other releases. Like if you consider Prometheus, none of this shit makes any sense, which is not their fault. By
Oh,
any
yeah.
means. But like that, so
No,
it just
they should not be taking this movie into account when they make Prometheus. So.
Well, no, I'm
for
just
better or
saying,
for
like,
worse, they do not need to know.
you
include
can't
it.
even put this in either one of these franchises, canon
Yeah.
because it just doesn't make sense. So it really is
No.
like kind of
Well,
useless.
It uses like their origins to some extent, like what little we know from the
Yeah.
main entries into the franchise. But other than that, it has no real tie to it. It is non-canonical by far, absolutely not canonical. It can't be.
Yeah.
Like it's just too silly. And that's the thing is like this movie doesn't like anybody who comes to see this movie, you think you want to see, yeah, Alien vs. Predator, it's gonna be great. But then you get there and it's like, oh yeah, I guess this is the Mortal Kombat fight I asked for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except I wish it
Like-
was more the Mortal Kombat fight I asked for.
Yeah, exactly. I wish if you're gonna do it, I want to see a toasty.
Yeah. I want to
Um,
see some crazy shit. I didn't.
One last negative review at random. Just as the director sucked the soul and scares out of Resident Evil, he's
Suck
torn
your
every
soul.
ounce of dread, tension, and awe away from Sigourney and Arnold's respective
Damn.
flagships.
Oh wow.
God damn, that's coming hard at WS.
Yeah.
Paul Whack
All right.
Anderson.
Wow.
That's what it stands for.
Uh-huh.
Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists.
We ain't
All right.
scientists.
That's our Rotten Tomato segment. Bob, why don't you keep the beat for us?
Keep
All right. It is totally time for trivia.
Uh-oh.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right. There's actually a shitload of trivia on like so much I did not read it all. It's
Okay.
like hundreds and hundreds of
Ugh,
pages.
what?
So I picked out some that I found to be relatively interesting. So let's blast through these here. In an interview, director Paul Whackshit Anderson said that Arnold Schwarzenegger offered to reprise his role as Dutch Schaefer from Predator in 1987 at the end of this movie as a cameo, but only if he lost the election for California governor. Schwarzenegger obviously won, so he didn't appear. The Antarctic setting on Bouvet Island is based on the unexplained Vela incident of September 22nd, 1979, where a satellite recorded a flash of light near the island. It was first speculated to have been a man-made nuclear explosion or a natural event, such as a meteor strike, but it's never been resolved. So I guess that is a mystery out there.
Must have been them predators. Predator
Vila-
Bob out
Oh,
there.
yeah. There's
Vela
DB
incident.
Cooper and the Predators.
That's my favorite band. Yeah, if you guys are listening and know about the Vela incident, call in and drop some knowledge on us. I'm curious about that.
You love the
Yeah.
predators, Bob? Is that what you're saying?
DB Cooper and the Preds,
You
my
got
favorite
mad
group.
respect.
I have a
for
daddy
Predators.
kink.
Super group. The Alien Queen was the most sophisticated animatronic ever built at the time. It had twice as many moving parts as the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. So suck it, Spielberg.
That'll
Hey,
show
fucking-
you. You
Fucking
hack.
poser.
They approached it the same way as they did it, like in some respects. Like it's partially CG and partially a puppet. The puppet looks great, and the CG looks terrible. Like it
Yeah.
just- it looks.
It's a puppet.
That's a
What is-
throwback. That's a
What
Yeah.
has happened?
What
to
is
you?
that from?
I don't remember.
That was one of
Something
our
with
Puppets
shows.
is a
Puppets.
that's a
puppet.
that's a
Hello, puppet.
Steve Brule.
Is it?
Hello, puppet.
Oh yeah.
Would you
Oh,
like
s-
some sawmill gravy on your biscuits?
From
All
the
right.
Wow.
from the
From the
dirty
We're
South
really-
England.
we're
We're
losing-
gonna lose.
We're losing all of our European
We're
listeners. by the
huge in the
minute.
dirty South, London.
England, South England.
Hello, puppet. The character of Verheyden was named after the comic book writer Mark Verheyden, creator of the first Alien vs. Predator comic series. And the first story involved both species. Contrary to popular belief, the comic was released prior to the infamous shot of the alien skull in the movie Predator 2, released 1990. I don't know. I guess there's some history to the comic books here that I don't know about. The mechanism that spews goo from the alien mouth could not be stopped when the camera stopped. So the alien mask continued dripping goo into a bucket in between the takes. They just had a goo bucket. It's out of control.
Don't let me get the bucket. Give me the
Oh, it's so gooey. Oh my god.
Get the bucket.
Who's mopping the
Uh-oh.
slop today?
Who's
Damn
the
it.
bucket guy?
No.
What a job that is.
The slop
that,
mopper.
that guy.
It's,
I hope he got paid scale, baby.
it's somebody's
Wait,
son.
no, that's a
Come
bad thing,
get-
isn't it?
bring
I
the
gotta know what I'm
bucket.
talking about.
Somebody's son.
Somebody's son. Get the mop.
Oh
Damn it.
yeah, I mean people have children. That's
It's whack shit's son. Come here, damn it.
nah.
Oh, our boy Guillermo del Toro GDT was offered the director's chair, but he opted to make Hellboy
my God.
instead. So
That's a better choice.
Yeah, it was a better
That's
It
a
choice.
better
would've been- I-
choice.
It would have been
Mhm.
cool to see. I mean, this would be something it would be cool to see him. Yeah, I mean, he could.
I
do
would love
cool
to see
shit
him
with
do
this.
just about anything. The thing is, like, he's
Yeah,
got
that's
such
the
an
thing. He
interesting
could do
visual
anything.
style that, like, involving him with Geiger is like both really
Yeah.
promising and really like could be a problem for either one of their styles.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know. I feel like it would be cool to see, like, but I feel that way about having him direct anything.
Yeah,
Anything
that's
you direct,
true.
I'm interested to see.
If
It's like
that
Tim
man's
Burton's-
making something, I
if Tim
wanna
Burton
watch it.
directed this, like,
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
just so
Bum,
specific.
bum, 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 bum. There's an elf names.
Suddenly whimsical.
Predator's got a
The,
bicycle.
a
Unicycle.
unicycle. The ship they take to the island is an homage to the X-Files Piper Maru from 1996, where a French ship called the Piper Maru finds a sunken World War II plane containing the black oil alien. I'm unfamiliar with this. I haven't really seen much X-Files. but I guess
Yeah, I'm not an Xbox
Same.
guy.
Yeah. The finished Queen animatronic had 47 points of articulation, powered by hydraulics, which was controlled by 5 to 6 puppeteers. Their input fed via a pair of motion control computers, one external, the other housed within the Queen's body. The hydraulic and motion control system was used to animate the Queen, Dayback, yada, yada, whatever. It's really impressive, apparently. Simon Pegg, who was a big fan of both Alien and Predator franchises, was well known to have disliked this crossover. He made a quip about it. The movie's tagline is what is the movie's tagline? Whoever wins, we lose is the original tagline.
Mhm.
He said, "Whoever won, we left." Ha 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 ha. ha.
Even
That
that
was Chris
original
Jack.
tagline is kind of like a dig on this movie.
Whoever won, we left. Drop it.
Yeah, it's kind of like truth in advertising if you look at it. from the
Yeah.
right angle.
That's my perfect Simon Pegg impression.
Robert.
Fucking nailed it. Yeah, and the equation.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Hey,
So
Bob.
one of us needs to
Keeping you
keep the beat. I'm about to take over.
Hey man, I'm out here spitting some triv. I'll
You're doing
this will be my-
something.
This will be my last one. The movie takes place 17 years after Predator, 1987, and 118 years before Alien. And I guess so the original Alien movie took place in the year 2122. So that's sort of in between the two of them. And I guess that fucks up the continuity of everything related in those franchises. So well done. Everybody who made this movie really nailed it. Good job.
Wait,
Go
is
on,
this is the second Alien versus Predator the one that's got Eric Foreman in it?
No, that's
No,
a
that's
Predator movie.
Predators.
Oh, that's a
Predator,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I have
Yeah.
seen that one. Never mind. Then I have not seen the second Alien versus Predator. Never mind.
I don't think I have either, which is like I was
Neither
I was a
have I.
lot more into this movie when it came out, so I'm shocked that I never got to see that one.
Yeah.
What a fucking poser. Let's talk Cooler of the
Damn.
Week, boys.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter is a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter, but we want the cooter with the most points. The 5 points of cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, Is there anyone even deep enough as a character to be even considered a Cooter in this film? I have my doubts.
Same. I
I
don't
feel like
think so.
yeah, I don't. There's one character who has a character, and it's our lead Lex, and her
Yeah.
character is very, very slight in and of herself. I guess you could say that like there's very small moments with the father guy, and like some of the other characters they give like the most minor introductions to. Tazon Day gets a little bit of something
Yeah.
to do, but
I'll nominate the damn Predator. Actually, I think Predator has the best case to be made here. Is the
Really?
tires?
Please.
His helmet looks like dog shit. His tires whack.
wow.
Okay.
Manipulation. The Predators are manipulating everybody involved, and sure as shit manipulating the hell out of the aliens. Like they're fucking the aliens up, man. They got the queen chained down, forcing her to just like churn out babies left and right simply so that they can get mowed the fuck down. That's pretty fucked up.
They are manipulating.
I think
the
it goes
people.
beyond
Yeah,
I think that
it
goes
does.
beyond manipulation to just straight dominance. Like I don't even know if
Yeah.
you can. They're not convincing. the
Yeah, I mean,
aliens
we
to do
don't
shit.
manipulate cows to become hamburgers, Bob.
Speak for yourself, dude. They're tricky sons of bitches, man.
You should kill yourself, Bessie. It's
Oh
time.
my god! Just run off that cliff. Just do it. Fall right in between my sesame seed buns.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
So smug arrogance. I get that would definitely fall under smug arrogance. To completely dominate another race is pretty fucked up, I think.
This is like the least
Bob, I think they're
cocksure
right.
predator batch yet.
Yeah,
Like they're not even like
they just kind of
they're-
get whooped. They're a little pathetic, I guess, because they get their asses whooped pretty easy.
Pathetic.
They're not top
So-
tier preds in my.
But
I don't know.
Bob,
I
you're
think
reaching.
that's the best. That's the best bet, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I gotta say no on this one.
all right. Well,
Yeah, I don't see it.
Sorry, Bob.
all right. You guys want to talk about anybody else? That's really all I got.
No.
I don't know. I mean, that was a valiant effort.
Yeah,
to
you
try
tried.
and make
You
the
tried to
segment
make
work,
this
but,
segment good.
hey.
Yeah, you did good.
Hey.
You did good.
Thanks.
You know what?
Thanks, guys.
You're
We're
okay,
pals.
Bob. We'll keep you around.
We support each other.
We decided we'll keep you.
Oh, hey. Oh, that's so sweet.
Your
of
trial
you.
period is officially over.
8 years. Okay, well, this
That was your final test.
the
Cooter
Cooters,
free.
Cooter free.
Cooter
there,
free's
yeah.
the way to be.
It's the way to be since
Cooter free. Cooter free. All right.
we got other stuff to talk about. Let's talk about what we've been watching this week.
Oh shit!
Hey gang, what you been watching?
The Rand Deuce is loose. What you been watching this week?
Let's see. So I went back. I kind of had gotten a wild hair to watch older films, like like much older
Nerd.
films. The past few weeks, I watched Vertigo, which I haven't seen maybe since early college, and I liked it a lot better this time around. Actually, than I feel like maybe I was expecting more action, not action, but like something with a few more beats in it, a little bit more high pace, fast paced stuff going on. I don't know why I expected that, but like when I remember seeing it the first time, I was like, man, this is a lot slower than I anticipated. And it is just kind of a slow movie, but it is fucking beautiful looking and it's well acted. It's just a fun fucking movie, man. It's great. I don't need to tell people to watch a goddamn Hitchcock classic. They already know. I watched a newer film called The Wonder with Florence Pugh, and that was all right. I thought it was pretty good. I would put it's not gonna like make any top 10s for me necessarily this year, but I think that she does like there's a lot of like great performances in that film. I'm just not super sold on the ending. But I'll obviously don't want to spoil that. I've started watching Severance. I'm 2 episodes in, taking my time with that and enjoying it quite a bit so far.
Nice.
It is pretty much as promised so far. Well, I watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, of course. I'm only human. I also was at a remote cabin this week. So for Thanksgiving festivities as well as anniversary festivities. And they had like, whatever DVDs they had or whatever. So I love that. I love going to like little cabins or whatever and just like throwing on whatever shit they got, even like the dumbest shit and the best shit and whatever you can find. And there are a few things there. I watched Clive Barker's The Plague. And when I say Clive
Whoa.
Barker, I mean
What a
his
choice.
fucking name is about as small of a font as you can possibly find on the cover of this thing. Stars James Vanderbeek, and Dee Wallace is in it for I think like a few minutes.
Huh.
I am not
Never
familiar
heard
with
of
this,
It's
yeah.
like Are You Afraid of the Dark level filmmanship? It's bad.
Oh no.
Um,
Did he direct
I also
it?
watched. No, I don't.
I
think-
mean,
think he
wrote.
sold
I
his
mean, did
name.
he write it?
I
Did
feel
he
like-
write it?
I feel
Probably
like
based-
I don't actually know. I think he probably wrote a short story and then like
Yeah.
sold it off and said like, okay, but you got to put my name in the smallest font
Okay,
you can
okay.
find.
Yeah.
Fucking Dawson's the lead. It's bad. It's an interesting idea though. It's like all these kids get a plague, which puts them all in a coma. If every kid under 9, I think it was, and then 10 years later, they all wake up and start murdering people.
Damn.
Nobody knows why. And then I also watch on the other end of the spectrum, The Philadelphia Story, which is an old Hollywood classic with Katharine Hepburn and Jimmy Stewart and Cary Grant. And boy, that one rubbed me the wrong way. I did not like it. It's man, there's just like, it's tough to describe why, but it's just like very much of its time, and I did not like some of the messaging that was going on in this thing. And then on the other side of that, I also watched Casablanca, which I had never seen, and is very fucking great. It's a great fucking movie. It deserves its reputation. I love it. Let's see. Was there anything else? Oh, and while at the cabin, the last thing we watched was The Strangers, which was an exceptional thing to watch in a remote
Nice.
cabin.
Hell yeah.
So
Perfect.
that was it for me.
Extra spooky.
The Bluebell. Rip Bluebell.
Rip Bluebell.
Rip it.
Damn thing was only had one scoop out of her.
Damn.
What a waste. You hate to see the cream go to waste.
You
Juice,
hate it.
what you been watching?
Randy Whittemore.
Wow.
Dude, I've been watching a lot because we skipped last week. I've been watching a shit ton of the new horror films that came out this year to get caught up for the end of the year. I watched The Innocents. Really like that. I need to listen to y'all's mini cast on it. I watched a movie called Mandrake, which is on Shudder. That might be a dirty South England film. I don't know. They got some weird accents, but that was hello, Prophet. That was okay. I watched Speak No Evil, which everybody was talking about a few months back when it dropped. I finally watched that. That shit pissed me off. I watched Sissy. That is also on Shudder. I'm watching a lot of Shudder now that I get it in the States. That one was okay. I watched Deadstream. That one was cracking me up pretty good. I thought that dude was cracking me up. Then a clever premise to film a kind of movie like that. So I thought they pulled off that. It is Christmas season, which means my family always has one of the Harry Potters on. So I've been watching a lot of those, just kind of always in the background. Watched Mickey Christmas Carol, which is the first Christmas Carol I ever watched. And it's fun to go back and revisit that as an adult. I watched part of A Christmas Story 2. I was not into that, and it was pretty rough. And I just couldn't really finish it.
No way.
Yeah, I finished Cabinet of Curiosities, episode 7. Oh, I know you guys have been dogging it a little bit, but nah, that one was
Dogging it. That might be an overstatement.
That's not the best.
I definitely
It's not the best
was
one,
dogging
but it's
episode
good.
7, but I thought it was a different. I got the mix.
Oh,
So that's
Oh,
my
shit.
bad.
which one did you think it was, Bob?
I thought it was the one with Ron Weasley in it.
Dude, that's like my least favorite one.
I did not like that one.
Dude, that
Yeah.
one sucks.
That was a strange one.
Yeah.
I
They
don't think
showed
any of them
too
sucked,
much of that
honestly, but-
monster. Ugh, I thought that one
Yeah.
sucked.
But the actual episode 7 fucking rules.
Yeah. I've been watching Get Blown. I watched season 3 of that, and since I finished it, I've
What?
been going back. It's like the
Get blown.
I don't think that's actually the title, but I always forget the title, and so I just
What?
Blow
See, you just
me.
made that up.
Well, it's about
I've
the
been
glass.
watching Blow Me Part 9.
It's about the glass blowers on Netflix. So they dropped season 3 earlier this year. I didn't realize though. For some reason, whenever I come home for the holidays, I always want to watch these feel good kind of competitions. So I was watching that. And I finished it. It was okay. So I've been going back to season 2, which is the first one I ever watched, which is the best one. So if you ever want to get into Get Blown, watch season 2 first, and then I'm going to watch the Christmas one, which is also good. I started watching Wednesday, but I'm not too deep into it. It's definitely got a kind of feel of like the Sabrina, but I think so far I haven't got too deep, but so far I think it's more tolerable for me. Jenna Ortega
Never
is
did
really
watch
good. And then I also watched A Boy Called Christmas, which I'd never seen. My parents wanted to show it to me. Pretty good little Christmas movie that came out. And that is pretty much what I've been watching. I think there's just some background Christmas movies also that have been on, but fuck it. Let's see who's left. Bob, what you been watching? Oof.
Okay.
You
I checked out
watching Go Blow Yourself Part 7?
Yep.
or-
Get Blown or whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know. Figure it out and then watch it. I watched The Menu in the theater.
Okay.
Mm.
What'd you think?
Definitely enjoyed that. Solid movie. Had a good time for sure.
Okay.
I won't go too deep in it because who knows, maybe we'll be talking about it in the near future. We'll find out. Enjoyed that though for sure. I finished Wednesday. When we first got into it, I was like real lukewarm on it. I was like, man, this feels like it's trying to be sort of I got big Harry Potter vibes from it because it like takes place at a school for like misfits and outcasts, and there's like 4 different sects and they're all like separated very cleanly, and there's a bit of a mystery afoot, and like the ancestor you're like paying for your ancestors' wrongdoings, and like that comes out, it just had this like, there's also just like straight up magic in it too. I was like, this is like crazy Harry Potter vibes.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. By the end of it, I thought it was pretty okay. Like I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but it definitely did not feel like the Addams Family to me. It felt like kind of its own thing. I mean, it is about Wednesday. Like you get like her parents are in it a bit, and like Uncle Fester's in it and thing and stuff, but they're not like together, like all together at all. So it has like a
very little
vibe.
Pugsley so far from what I've seen.
Very little. Yeah, you get almost none of them, but it's just kind of its own thing, and it doesn't quite have that like Addams Family vibe. It's fine. It's okay. It's definitely geared towards like, I think, teenagers. So like, that's just what they're trying to do.
How funny is it?
Funny?
It's
Not really.
Light.
Yeah, it's not particularly
Because that's
funny.
like it's like, I don't know, man. That's what the Addams Family is to me. It'd be like making a real mystery show out of like an Ace Ventura spinoff. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's the dryness of the Wednesday characters there, and like nobody else is as dry as she is. So there's like that level of humor constantly throughout it, but it's never like bust a gut funny. Really, it's just like,
and like is it like, how often are they interacting with people that aren't like magical or ridiculous? Because it seems like they're just around everybody they're around is also crazy.
There's this town,
which defeats the whole purpose.
There's a town outside the school, so there's like a school for weirdos and then a town of normal people. So somewhat. But...
muggles, if you will.
Yeah. So I didn't think about Harry Potter, but that's a good call. It really has. If you watched any of that Sabrina from Netflix, it's kind of the same vibe.
Yeah, and the ending it just drove that home even further for me. I was like, yeah, this is Harry Potter. What else? It's all right. I give it a light recommend. It's Jenna Ortega does a great job as Wednesday Addams. I'll say that for sure. That girl killed it this year. The whole year killed it. It's also round about Christmas time. We're past Thanksgiving, so we got into some of the lighter Christmas movies. I wanted to rewatch Night of the Comet because that's like a sneaky Christmas movie I hadn't seen in a while. It's pretty fun. It's like a made-for-TV movie about these two girls. They're sisters, and it's from like 1986 or something like that. And this like comet passes by around Christmas time, and it causes like the end of the world. And they are able to survive, and they have to like navigate the post-apocalypse basically, and they're like figuring it out as they go.
What was that called?
Like, it's called Night of the Comet. It's light on the Christmas vibes. It just like it happens at Christmas. It's one of those, it's not really about Christmas, but it's pretty cool. I dig it. It doesn't knock my socks off, but if you want something that's sort of like cheesy 80s low budget stuff, it's pretty cool. We also threw on Nightmare Before Christmas because it's a perfect time to do so. Still good, of course. And also we watched Office Christmas Party. Have you guys seen that movie? I feel like not many people talk about it.
No,
It's a recent Hollywood comedy, so nobody's seen it.
Yeah, it's from, I forget, man, 2012 maybe, 15.
Damn,
I
that's
don't know,
10 years ago. Then
something like that. But it's got your boy Jason Bateman
2016.
in it. 2016. Okay.
Okay.
Jason Bateman, T.J. Miller,
Aniston, McKinnon.
Yeah, Aniston. Yeah, McKinnon.
Babe.
Freaking McKinnon is the funniest motherfucker ever in this movie. She fucking kills me, dude. It's TJ Miller inherits this crazy huge company from his father, and he is famous for throwing this like massive Christmas party. His sister, played by Jennifer Aniston, is the CEO. She tells him she's closing the branch. They got to cancel the party, but he throws the party anyway, and shit just goes fucking out of control. It's really funny. I think it's worth watching if you want like a newer Christmas comedy to throw on. I dig it. Christmas Office Party. Check it out.
All right.
That's what I've been watching. That's what I got.
Ooh, man.
Ooh, boys.
We did it.
Boy.
We did
Oh, man.
Get blown.
Get blown or whatever it's called. I don't know. Just been watching it. We got one more segment to get into, and that is, of course, our hotline screens.
Hotline screen.
If you're listening and would like to call in to leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got 2 voicemails this week. First up, we're hearing from our boy Miles. Let's hear what he's got to say.
What's up, guys? It's Miles here. I saw you guys had reviewed Aliens last week, and surprisingly enough, I saw that Chris had picked Alien vs. Predator for this week. So you got a double dose of Aliens. What's crazy is, and I think I posted this in the Slack, I wasn't eligible to pick a Patreon pick this go around because I had already picked 2 this year, so I couldn't pick one this time. But I mentioned this in the Slack, but I was going to pick Alien 3 if I got a pick this go around. So there's an alternate reality somewhere where you guys had to review Aliens, Alien 3, and AVP all within the same you pick cycle. So that I don't know what's in the air. That everybody had Aliens on the brain, but I thought it would have been crazy. I was also surprised to hear that Randy hasn't seen Alien 3 or Resurrection. So I'm now extremely interested to hear your guys' opinion on it. I think it is a extremely underrated movie. I think it is extremely overhated. I won't give all my thoughts away on it in case you guys do review it in the future. But I definitely think it's extremely underrated. I always describe Alien 3 as, the phrase, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. It is definitely a victim of that. I definitely think there are too many cooks in the kitchen, but there are a few of those cooks who are like 5-star AAA chefs. And then you have, the fry cook down the road from McDonald's come in and try to, add his kind of pizzazz in there. Those are, because you have David Fincher, who is directing the shit out of that movie, and you have Sigourney Weaver, who I think out of all the Alien movies, and Alien 3 is not as good as Alien or Aliens, but out of all those movies, she is acting her ass off in that movie. I think that is the best she is in the entire franchise. But yeah, if you look into the production history on that, the fact that it is even as competent as it is amazing. So I'm really interested to hear your guys' thoughts on Alien 3. Hopefully getting right onto that soon. Yeah, no, that was it. Definitely looking forward to hear your guys' thoughts on the rest of the Alien franchise. Take care.
I
Yeah.
actually had
Wow.
no idea that Fincher directed that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I-
crazy. That definitely makes me more interested.
I haven't
I-
seen that one, or I haven't seen 3 or 4 either.
I have seen Alien 3, but I don't remember much from it, honestly.
Hmm.
I'm excited to revisit it, though. Like, hearing Miles talk so highly of it. I know, like, it was, its production history was super fucked up. Like, they would not leave that man alone. So, I mean, I definitely suffered from that. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll be talking about it sometime soon. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, we're like halfway through the Alien franchise as it is now. We might as well just knock it out, you know?
I think they made a
guess
pretty
so.
solid SNES game out of that one. If
Really?
I remember right. Like not perfect, but solid for like a movie based video game.
I know a shocking amount about the plot of that movie already, though. So
I don't
I don't know how
anything
much of
about
it hinges on twists and turns, but
I
I know a
do
couple
know
of key
something about
facts
like
just
a
from
poster
osmosis.
or something. I should check that out. As much as I love the Alien franchise or just Alien in general, I should check that out.
Yeah.
Do it. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Miles. Good luck to you in the next year, and hopefully you grab a U pick, and we'll be talking about Alien 3 soon. Next up, we are going to hear from our friend, the librarian. Let's hear what she's got to say.
What up, nerds? So the prompt from Aliens, which love y'all for covering that. Anyway, I was surprised you actually had it. I was like, wait a minute, Aliens? With the S? Anyway, the prompt was anything y'all say that have subconsciously entered my lexicon. I do, at a job I worked at, I worked with like not kids, but like college age kids compared to my age. And whenever I walked in, I would yell, "What up, nerd?" to whoever was in the office. So thank you, Bob. I love that. I have started saying "gentle mang" in any situation, regardless of gender, of group of people. Like, I think I sat down to Thanksgiving and I said to all my cousins, "All right, gentle mang, what we eating?" And I will randomly think that keeping the beat. I will randomly think that in my head when I need to like move along with something like chores or shit like that. And I think I don't say yabos. I'm so sorry, Juice. I'm trying to think of another one. Yeah, that's it. You know what? We're gonna cut it there. Yeah. I love you, boys. See y'all later.
That's great.
I love that Gentlemangs is in rotation, but I gotta give
Yeah.
credit to the birthday boys for the keeping the beat thing. That's
Yeah.
that doesn't deserve our credit. I don't think we didn't create that by any means. Birthday
Feels
boys,
so
great show.
good.
But we did
When you're
make
keeping the
Yabo,
beat.
so I hope
Made
you
it.
people
We
start
invented
using
Yabos.
that
Yeah.
term a lot more.
Disney can suck it. We made Yabos.
Okay, let's antagonize the world's biggest company. Let's do that.
Disney can offer us $1 million deal.
Come at us.
We're gonna be in a
Mouse.
Technicolor fucking catacomb by the end of the night.
Dude, I can't wait till they make
Catacomb.
a Pixar movie about us, boys.
called the Technicolor Catacomb. I would watch the fuck out of that. We need to be
Actually,
Pixar.
if somebody made a
fat
horror
asses.
Disney film, Disney style animated film, but very horror and like gothic horror set in a catacomb and called it the Technicolor Catacomb, that's a movie I would watch.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Somebody else besides me go and make that movie,
Besides-
please.
No, let's do it. Disney,
Del Toro, get on it.
call
Disney,
us. Call us.
do it. Do our bidding and pay us
Mhm.
for it. Thanks.
Mhm.
I am the paying customer.
Glad that we can enrich your daily vocabulary there, librarian.
Mostly.
What up, gentlemen? Well, I love that she used it at Thanksgiving. That's fantastic. Gentlemen.
Dude, yeah.
Oh my god, I saw this Thanksgiving video where this like kid was like saying what he was thankful for. He was like in his early 20s. He starts freaking out at his dad about
Like
breaking
you.
his Xbox or whatever and ends up flipping the table. And then he finds out his brother's phone. He's like, "You're feeling that." He had total incel vibes. It was cracking
Dude.
me up. If you've seen that video, hit me up on
Mhm.
Slack. That shit was
Oh
killing
my
me.
god.
Dude, that's giving me a reminder of the video where the kid tries to put a remote control in his ass because he's so pissed off. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? It's so fucking funny.
Do I remember
This kid's
that?
freaking out and throwing a tantrum on his bed, and for some reason he picks up his remote and starts shoving it through his gym shorts into his own ass for no fucking reason, and then stops, and then just like that's I think around the end of the video.
I have
He's just
no
like the most
idea what
epic
you're
tantrum of
talking
all
about.
time.
Oh fuck! Oh
So
my
this
I'll
god!
look it up for you. It's like vintage internet memery.
Dude, I gotta put that video on fucking Slack or something because he starts off. He's like, "I'm thankful for
Oh shit!
mom for buying me another Xbox because dad." broke it." And he's like, "I really look up to Master Chief." You know, he's like
my
because.
God.
But he's like, not like y'all would understand. And his dad's like, "Are you gonna like cause a scene or something?" He's like, starts. It's so good.
Hey, fuck you.
Oh my god, Randy, can you share the ass remote video too?
Dude, we got a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
to share on
Fuck.
Slack.
That's well known shit. I'm gonna give it to you.
God damn, that's funny. Whew.
Oof.
Thanks for calling in, librarian. Hope you had a lovely Thanksgiving. Again, if you want to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on probably not next week's episode, the week after that, hit us up at 904-638-3231. You guys have any prompts you want to throw out there?
No, it's
I don't know.
400. This our last
Yeah.
last of the 300s. Whoa.
Do you fall in the AVP as good wholesome fun category, or do you fall into the dumb besmirching of the franchise category? What's your pleasure? I'm curious.
What's your pleasure?
Robert.
I know where Chris lies.
Yeah. Or also too, like, what are some of your favorite like successful or some of your favorite crossovers or action horror films? You know, since this kind of like try to take this and add a little action to it, what are some of your favorite action horror films?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah, call in, let us know favorite action horror films, favorite crossovers. Also, if you want to chime in for episode 400, it probably won't make it on the 400th episode. We can stick it on the 401. Call in and share straight chilling memories or what have you. Share with us. Yeah, so we're gonna be back next week with a brand new show. It's episode 400. We're not going to be reviewing a movie. Typically, every 100th episode, we do kind of like a big, like a look back, I guess. This we got a lot of surprises.
We do a little circle
next
jerk
episode.
for ourselves every
A little
100
circle-
episodes.
Kind of, yeah. It's masturbatory, but also hopefully fun and enjoyable for everyone listening, and not just. For
It's
the three of
certainly
us.
masturbatory for the predator here.
God damn. Yeah, we're like we said at the top of the show, we're going to be recording a live show Friday, December 2nd in Jacksonville at a bar called Rain Dogs. We're renting out the back room. Starts at 7 o'clock. Come hang out with us and be a part of episode 400. If you are there, you very literally can be a part of next week's show. So that'll be a lot of fun. Bring some questions for us. We will certainly answer them for you. And we're looking forward to it. Yeah. Episode 400. Who the fuck would ever thought? Not me. That's for fucking sure.
Look at us.
See you guys on the other side. Whoa.
On the other side. Yeah. Until then, rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling, on Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. And you can send an email to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to join in our daily Slack channel conversations and watch these crazy videos about kids ramming remotes in their buttholes and flipping dinner tables over, hit us up on one of those social media outlets and I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. That shit sounds wild. Yeah. Hope everybody had a happy ass Thanksgiving, and until episode 400, everybody please keep chilling.
Chocolate rain